Dear Radio, what's going on? It's your boy, Dear LeBrankston, and I'm back here with another special report segment. You already know I got the best co-host in the nation with me, Dear Michael and Dear Siege. How we doing, fellas?
Amazing, brother. How you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling great, man. Unfortunately, TKD2 Gaming cannot be on this episode tonight, but, man, we got a lot of good stuff to talk about with or without him. Honestly, sometimes I feel like we don't even really need him. He's just that guy you put in your backpack, and he kind of carries along for the ride.
Tough.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
very true.
yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Am I right?
Hey man, shout out to
Hey,
YouTube Gaming, man.
Right.
I ain't gonna let him throw you on the bus like that, brother. I ain't gonna let him do it. I ain't gonna let him do it to you, brother. We need you, man.
Because we hit
Keep
the
doing
right
your
button,
thing,
man. If we were offline right now, he'd be like, yeah, screw that guy. I can't stand him.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't do me like that. Don't wish that on me, man.
But Michael, what are we talking about today?
And we're gonna talk about a little bit of, a little bit of streaming services. Just obviously the evolution of it and how things have been changing and continue to evolve. Right. I think the way we consume content now, as far as Netflix, Spotify, Hulu, YouTube, and obviously the way we gotta now create content and post things has obviously evolved. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and why it's important to do that and how we kind of navigate through just consuming versus producing and kind of like what to look for I think in the next year or so and obviously how YouTube continue to do what they're doing, what ideas they have and obviously we got to find our ways to continue to produce their radio content. So how we want to start putting that out on all these platforms. So let's dive into that. Like what platforms obviously do y'all like posting on most that give you I guess the best performance? The obvious answer is all of them, but obviously, we need to figure out which ones we think we like the most. Obviously, Branson, you do a lot of gaming, so you post everywhere the most right now. So, out of all the things you've been posting on for as far as the producing side, like which one have you kind of enjoyed or you seen the most, I guess, organic growth in right now?
Dude, so it's kind of weird. So, if you guys have listened to the other Dear Radio shows, probably all through season 4 and season 3, I talked about how my old TikTok account got banned. And I thought I was getting a lot of organic growth with that. Like, it was going great. Like, I had over 2,000 followers. Like, I think my highest video was close to like 1 million views. Like, it was going crazy. And that was like my third ever TikTok ever posted. And this was like summer COVID of 2020, I think. April 2020, that's when it was. So, like, I posted it. I was at WrestleMania. I got a whole bunch of views. And then I got banned for whatever reason. So I'll never know why, but and so I thought it was going great with that. Yeah, shout out TikTok, man. Shout out. But on YouTube, like I thought I was never gonna make it. It's very hard to grow on YouTube. Just post videos, and especially for someone like me who started off who was very inconsistent with his posting. I figured out for me the best times to post are pick whatever 2 days I want to post and just post. If I'm doing 2 long form videos, like for now I do every Tuesday and Friday. And from once I started doing that consistently for like a month, I noticed a lot more views. And like what I kind of told you guys offline is like I posted this Call of Duty video of just my honest review on it. And very first day it was at like 90, which is a very high for me. And then I checked like 2 days later, it was at 500. Then 3 days after that, it was at 1,000. Right now, it's at 1,300. And I got the YouTube Studio app to where you can check all the analytics and stuff. And like every single day, I've been gaining at least 1 subscriber. I'm up to 58 now, which doesn't seem like a lot, but considering like at August I was at 19, it's a pretty decent jump, at least for someone who's very inconsistent. So between posting those 2 long forms and YouTube Shorts is a little bit funny too, because when I used to post back in probably last year, like some days I get 0 views. The next day I get like maybe 5 views. But now, like ever since I got that big video to blow up on TikTok, or not TikTok, the long form video, that Call of Duty video, like a lot of my YouTube shorts, they'll hit like 500 views right off the bat, then 1,000. Like people are leaving comments, people are leaving likes. Like it's very just weird how the algorithm works. So I say this a lot through the Dear Radio show, through the special reports episode. You just got to be very consistent and precise with how you're making your videos, when you post your videos, and honestly, just post everywhere. Like I think Reels is really weird because sometimes I'll get 20,000 and then the next day I only get like 300. So I haven't figured that one out yet. So I'd say in terms of organically, at least right now, I would say YouTube, then TikTok, and then Reels. But a lot of people will put TikTok first just because all it takes is for one TikTok to blow up and then all your other TikToks blow up, because the algorithm will show you, even if you just like the video or the TikTok, it'll show you more other TikToks within like the next 5 scrolls. So a lot of people will say TikTok over that.
Makes sense. Makes sense. See, so okay. Well, let me talk about the producer side. Then we'll go to the consumer side. Because see, you post. How often do you post like on TikTok? Or because I see you post a lot of stories there and there when you're doing some events or wherever you're doing some stuff. But like when you post TikTok, I know you used to be posting some of the football content, but I'm not sure what all you post now on TikTok. Do you post a lot on there now, or not really?
No, not really. I haven't really been putting any videos on there. I got videos, but I just haven't put them on there and things of that nature. I
Makes
probably
sense.
do need to, but at the same time, like I've never been a big social media guy for the posting side. I always like to consume it, like you said, the consumer side. I always like to look at it and see what's going on with the people's,
Yeah.
not other people's lives, but like how other people are portraying their lives. You know what I'm saying? Things of that nature, like because obviously we know social media. Some things are real, some things are real. So it
Mm-hmm.
just kind of you can't combine the two and just put it all into one thing. Like you have to be able to separate that. And I do a good job in that because I don't let what other people do on social media dictate what I got going on or somebody
Mm-hmm.
else's relationship status, or if they're even talking about relationships, or they're even talking about like how they speak with things and things like that. Like sometimes I post motivational things and like, oh yeah, I feel that. And but other than that, it's more of a I'm not posting like some kid buying somebody that's 21 buying a G wagon or anything like that. It's like that doesn't pertain to me. That doesn't entertain me. You know what I'm saying? I don't care how they got their money. They got money. Hey, that's good for them. But it's like I'm not sitting there being like, man, he got money, and then just to piggyback off that, man, I seen a guy. I don't even know the guy. I haven't even seen any of the TikTok or anything. But it was a guy that people were posting on TikTok saying that he was looking at a fast food restaurant or whatever. I'm not even sure who the guy was, but they said in the comments, I was reading the comments, they were saying that he had made a viral TikTok or whatever, and now he's
Mm-hmm.
working in a fast food restaurant, and like he got money from the TikTok, but he's still working 9 to 5. And some people were clowning him, some people were was like, man, why are you getting on him for still wanting to work even though he made some money, a little money off of TikTok, yada yada yada. It's like I was just trying to gauge that because it's like, man, why are people so invested in what other people have going on, and like why is it so important to them to know why this guy is still working at a restaurant and things of that nature? Like, I feel like that's not for you to explain to anybody. At the same time, it's just like, man, I understand why people want to know. Like being famous is a dangerous job, man, for a fact.
Talk
And
about it.
people, everybody wants to see what you got going on, and if you don't show them enough, or if you show them too much, then it's like a double-edged sword in that aspect.
Ain't no thin line between it.
No thin
It's
line
tough.
between.
It's tough. Like you said, like it's trying to figure out your privacy to what you want to expose. Man, that's person to person. Obviously, brand to brand, person to person. There's never really a right answer to that. But if you want, obviously, if you're a brand, obviously, I think putting more content out is better than not. But it's just different, and I think that kind of starts with it too, right? I think I think when you're talking about the reels and stuff, I believe now it used to. So what changed that? I'm trying to think what changed it because when social media, when was it? 20? I mean, I guess you can talk about MySpace, right? MySpace like 09, 08, 07,
Yeah.
something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, what was that? What was after that? Facebook, and then
Yep.
what? Twitter,
I
That's when
will say
Twitter
Twitter.
really
Yeah.
blew up. Then IG
Twitter,
Yeah.
yeah,
came
Twitter.
out.
yeah, and
Yep.
IG. So
Mm-hmm.
IG started with 2014, 13, I think 12, 2012, something like that. I
Somewhere
can't
around there,
remember.
because
Yeah.
we were in like high
Yeah.
school, middle school area.
Yeah, it was in high school. But at that point, it's like more privacy. Like you kind of just follow your friends follow you. You just seeing what's going on.
Yeah, it's
You
more
can call them.
private. Yeah.
It's just kind of like more personal. And at that point, it was all about from like 14 or 12 when it started to like I want to say 20, really to like 19, 20, like when COVID happened. It was all
Yeah.
about followers, right?
Yeah.
Like who has the most followers? We need to follow this person that got the followers because whenever they post, everybody's gonna like it and obviously tune in. And then I think what came out, maybe Musically came out, and I don't know what year that came out, but Vine came out with 16.
No, Vine was in when we were in high school.
No, I was like in high school, so that's probably like 14,
Yeah,
13.
Yeah, it's so much stuff, but it's just like evolution of that, right? Like that came and went, but it
Yeah,
when those smaller, not smaller apps, but when those apps create content where you like instead of doing long content, you put in 6 seconds to 10 seconds in a video. At that time, it changed the algorithm to where it doesn't matter about how many followers you got. It's more so about what videos are you producing that people are interested in, and they're only going
yeah,
to send out the videos and put them on front feed of like the most interesting videos that people consume.
yeah,
And now I feel like since TikTok came out and became what it is, it's kind of reverted back to that. Like, okay, it's not about followers no more. You can have 100 followers now and really have a video that's a million. You know what I'm saying? Like over a million views off of just a
yeah,
great content video that's produced really well that everybody's interested in. And now you just got to figure out how to capitalize off the views of that and figure out what you want to brand it or if you want to brand it or not. But I think that's where we're at now, and that's why like LeBron said he went from like 50 to 100 to 900 to like people are interested about what you're playing. You're playing Call of Duty. A lot of people play Call of Duty. They're interested in it.
yeah.
They don't care about how many followers you got. They just want to know like
yeah.
what about Call of Duty you like playing. And I think moving forward, it's going to be more of that. I think the next app that comes out is going to be more driven towards that. So I think the evolution of that is interesting. YouTube,
I will say this though, Dear Michael.
yeah, yeah.
TikTok, TikTok kind of now is more on the entertainment side of who's the funniest, who's doing like the best transitions
Mhm.
and like more of keeping somebody entertained. Because you could do the TikTok a little bit longer now, like a minute or some of
Yeah,
that nature.
because you can get up to
Long. I
three.
think
You can get up to 3 minutes
yeah, I was
because
about to say long now.
Three
because
minutes?
well, yeah, because you can get up to 3 minutes because if you're in the TikTok creator fund where you get paid for it, each TikTok has to be a minimum of 1 minute. So that's why like if you see people playing those TikTok games and they obviously are failing on purpose, you're like, dude, what the heck are they doing? They're doing it to get that a whole minute. So that way, like people will watch that
Mm,
full minute and get paid for that full minute because that's a minimum criteria. Because if you do like at the bottom where you can scroll up and down, like fast forward and rewind, you can see
yeah,
a lot of those videos are probably close to 1 minute and 1 second, 1 minute, 3 seconds. Like they'll hardly ever go up that 3 minute mark.
Mm.
Yeah.
wow, I did not know that.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Yeah,
science
just like
behind it.
that.
I mean, just think about the science behind building an app that you want people to consume and be because you got like because the producer side of it is like if I want to make TikTok, I want to make Instagram. Mark Zuckerberg want to make Facebook and buy Meta, like change the Meta and buy Instagram. Like the goal is to I need to get as many people in the world to stay on my app 24/7. So every month they damn near
Yeah,
changing the algorithm just to keep more people on there. So like if you're a producer that's trying to make money off
yeah,
there, you now have to stay up to date with every single thing just so you can actually get content, reach, and attention. And it's always ever changing. So obviously, people like Gary Vee does a great, tremendous job of doing that because that's just his bread and butter. And he's a student of just algorithms and student of business. So he does pretty well. I follow him doing stuff like that,
yeah,
and it's and for us, we gotta do the same thing. So like we're trying to figure out what the best reach is. And that's why sometimes we have videos that do 50. We got some that do 4,000 organically. And you're like, what? What's? But you start figuring out, okay, this thumbnail might be better the content might be better. What we're
yeah.
talking about might sound better. People are interested in this subject instead of this subject. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we're trying to figure out that whole algorithm as well. And when we get more nitty gritty on what we need to do, and analytics start showing, we start studying this, we'll get better as well, posting it everywhere else and figuring out how to run ads, when to run ads. Like it's a lot that goes into it, and I think the producer side is really interesting because you can get burnt out doing it if you're not doing it right and if you're not
Yeah.
really taking care of it. So and the consumer side is you can get tired of just watching stuff all day too. Like, so it's definitely exhausting on both
I
sides,
do
but
get bumped out sometimes just looking at TikTok. I be like, man,
it's,
same thing scrolling up and down.
it's tough. I mean, what y'all think? So what's been the last decade? Right, it's 2024. So let's start 2014. What's been the best from producer and consumer side? Like, what's been the best platform that y'all been using that y'all enjoy the most? Right now. I mean, obviously, all of them have grown and changed and evolved, but what y'all think is the best one to you?
To me, I'll go first, Mike. I'll say Twitter. I've
Mm,
always found myself going back to Twitter even when I took my break from social media and things of that nature, like I've always
Mm.
found my wanting to go back to Twitter or either keeping Twitter as the only app that I'll look at if I do take a break from the
Mm.
other social media platforms. I don't know, it's just something like Twitter. Now Twitter is a little bit different, but before Twitter was a little bit more informational. It was funny videos, like content that I was like more engaged to. I didn't just put like random stuff on my feed and tell me this is what somebody else is doing that I'm not even following
Is,
or
is
I don't even
it
like,
doing that now?
like
It's
stuff
doing
like
that
that.
now or
Like
no?
yeah, it does that. Yeah, it does that now. It does that now for
Uh,
me. I'm not sure about Link, but it does that for me a lot now.
Yeah.
I
So
have to
like,
always press the little three buttons and be like, not relevant, not
yeah.
relevant.
So like on
Not
Twitter now,
relevant.
like you have like almost like a for you page at the top, and then you
Yeah,
can switch from like the for you page over to the
the
following
following.
tab, so it only shows
Mm-hmm.
you like who you're following. So I like that new feature for Twitter whenever they reintroduced it. But
that's
keep going, Siege.
Well, no, I mean, basically, yeah, like Twitter, I always found myself going back to Twitter, so I felt like Twitter was one of those apps that I've always enjoyed. 'Cause like I said, there's always something funny on there, and there's always something informational as well, like people sending out motivational or either
mm,
people talking about money making
stuff.
habits and stuff like that and habits to obtain things of that nature. So like I always find it informational for me. But you know what I'm saying? To be honest, social media sometimes like you said, it gets burning. Like, it burns you out sometimes. And like I always like I said, I take my breaks from it. But I do find myself going back to Twitter, so that's why I said Twitter.
Okay, and if that's your top. We ain't got to talk just social media. I'm talking about like all media. Is that Twitter your top?
Oh, all media for like YouTube and stuff too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's Twitter. You still
Yeah,
picking
I mean,
Twitter?
I think, well, no, I'll say YouTube then because I always watch the podcast and I watch the videos and things of that nature. So
Yeah,
I'll switch to YouTube, man. But Twitter is definitely in that top two. I'll say
that
YouTube
makes
and
sense.
Twitter.
That makes sense. What about you, Burnt?
So if you would have asked me this probably last year, maybe 2 years ago, I would have been on the same part with Siege in terms of like Twitter was number one. But I don't know what the heck happened. I don't know if it's because Elon took over Twitter or it's just what Twitter's been doing. But there's a lot of stuff that is good on Twitter, but there's a lot more bad stuff on Twitter that I don't want to see. Like
Yeah,
sometimes it's hard for me to be like at the mall or at Walmart or
yeah.
in the
Penny scrolling
airport.
public.
Hey, you scrolling in public and some girls twerking on your for you page. I'm like that, bro. Like I'm with my parents right now. Like I'm in church. So that's not what I want to see. So I'll just throw my phone over. So I like I love Twitter. There's a lot of good stuff on there. I follow a
Yeah,
lot of good content creators on there. A lot
The,
of
the,
people on like what Siege said in terms of money making people or just like even motivational stuff. I'll see their stuff. Like I got to do the for you page or the following page instead of for you page because again I can't have that stuff going on. So if you would have asked me that a while ago, I would have said Twitter. But now, what I would really say is YouTube. I would say for the longest, like I stopped watching YouTube for maybe like 2 years. I don't know what it was. I just couldn't do it anymore. I used to love YouTube. Like I remember when YouTube first came out with Soldier Boy's music video dropping, and then almost basically every music artist dropping their music video on YouTube first. Watching theirs, going from there, watching Call of Duty videos, watching just the gaming content blow up, and then the comedy content blowing up, and to where now like there's a lot of stuff before I go to bed, and I have that hour gap of I'm gonna watch my final little bit of electronics before I take a break and go to sleep. I'll watch like content producer stuff, like how to get better in video editing, better transitions, better stuff like this, how to make it better on YouTube, how to make it better on Spotify. So I would say YouTube is my go to form of media right now, just because there's so much more. It's more based on you rather than just random stuff showing up on your feed. If you look up stuff on like how to edit this type of video, your next 5 videos are going to be very similar, or your recommended pages are going to be very similar instead of getting something that you don't want to watch. And I feel like there's a lot of educational stuff on there too, not in terms of like math or geometry or anything like that, but like real world stuff. Like, have you guys watched Tommy G? You guys know who Tommy G is?
I don't
No.
think so, but I probably seen a video of his.
Yeah.
Sure.
So Tommy G, he's like he's a white dude, but he goes around to like different hoods of America and basically try to figure out like why like young kids are going into gangs, like why are kids doing that, and he'll get like their like he'll go from like gangs to like the white rednecks up in Ohio to like everywhere, and like he actually gets their life story and be like, is this what the media actually portrays as true, or like what is your guys' story? And like they'll be like, yo, like a lot of times we don't want to do this, like, but we're forced into it. So it really shows like a behind the scenes of an educational component rather than what the ABC News or CNN is going to show on TV. It's just some random guy going out all across America, getting to meet these like gang leaders, whatever it is, like drug traffickers, and getting to understand like why they do it. Like one of the videos was him interviewing kids who do the railroad surfing. Have you guys seen that in New York?
I heard about it.
Or when they jump from train to train.
Yeah, and they just like run across the train. Yeah, like he'll go talk to them, and the kids are like, I don't know, it's just fun until someone gets hurt. Then we still keep doing it, and it's just like something like I would never look up, but then is this guy just posting all these random videos of other people's stories across the United States. I don't know. That's something I like to look into. It's just something cool to figure out. Like, hey, not everyone's like me. Like, there's a lot of other people who have their own struggles, their own way of life, their own success, their own downfalls, everything like that. You're not going to get that everywhere else. Sorry, I went on a tangent.
No, I talk about it. That's good. That's dope. If I had to choose, I'm probably gonna say YouTube as well. Just over the years of how it's continued to change and evolve. It's an interesting platform that you can do now, both like short form and now obviously it's been long form content, but to have the ability to be able to produce people like a Mr. Beast, it's really ridiculous, to be honest with you. And then to be able to produce other people like KSI, I forgot the buddy that does all the reviews for tech. Forgot his name, but and then just have like regular huge, and then just have so you got reviews, then you got people that do their own podcasting that's popping off of that, right? And it's like it's so they've turned into like a really hope, and obviously got bought out by Google, which really helped the company because if that didn't happen, then I don't think YouTube would still be here. So YouTube has definitely put themselves in the prime position to continue doing that. If we're talking like hybrid companies though, and we're talking about like business structure, I would probably say Amazon would be like my favorite just because they've killed the model of distribution. So like obviously the e-commerce store, they've marketed themselves to where their distribution is everywhere. So they get your product there in a day or 2 days max. I mean minimum. And it's like now they're investing in media. So they got Fire Stick, they got Amazon Prime. Now they have Amazon Music. Now like if we're talking about hybrid approach, I think Amazon's definitely killing the game with that and continue to evolve. Their business model is pretty strong. So it's interesting to see what the next thing is going to be. But just as far as the last couple of years, I think Amazon started. When did they start? In the 90s or 80s? I think
yeah, it's been a while.
I want to say the 90s.
I think the 90s.
I remember the Kindle growing up, and I was like, man, what is that? People reading off that?
Where did the Kardashian show host? Was it hosted on YouTube first, or was it hosted on like a TV network?
It was on TV.
I think it was on a TV network. It was like We Network or
something like that.
Never mind.
I never watched it, but that's what I heard.
Yeah, I've seen Siege watch it. He definitely watches it.
Shout out the Kardashians, man. Media is interesting, man. I think it's important.
No shout out. No shout out to the Kardashians.
I'm glad you said that because I was going to hold my tongue.
Kardashians, we are not shouting you guys out.
They got enough shout outs.
We try to get McDonald's and them on board, man.
Yeah, shout out McDonald's, man. Shout out.
Shout out to McDonald's out, man.
Yeah. Those M's
shout out Kroger, man. Shout out Kroger, man. We need that sponsorship too. Shout out
Kroger.
Need that.
Yeah. I told Kroger, man. Yeah, I was Kroger for sure.
Yeah.
Shout out Kroger.
Well, media is media, but as far as consumer side, there's so many medias, brother. Like I think it's just at this point you can just pick whatever one and be good with either one. I mean, obviously people had their own struggles with I think the Mike Tyson fight the other night. Not well, I'm not sure when it's going to
Yeah,
air,
don't
but
even get me started on
Netflix
that.
had their own thing with that. But hey, man, Netflix get together, man. But other than that, as far as the producer
Man, let's
side,
get it. Let's get into it, man. Hold on.
talk
Yeah,
about
yeah,
it
yeah.
then.
Let's talk about it.
I
Let's
didn't
talk
watch
about
it.
it.
Let's get
I got
into
to
that
listen.
real quick.
I didn't watch it, so I got to listen to it. I got to listen.
I didn't watch it, and I didn't watch it, but I heard all the build up beforehand and all the contracts and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
things that was put into the contract. I didn't even know at first that it was airing on Netflix until I went to the app and I went on Netflix to watch something else and watch a movie or something. And I said, hold on, they got Mike Tyson little documentary like HBO do with like Floyd and them. And I seen that and I'm like, hold on, this ain't Friday. The fight is gonna be live on Netflix. I said, oh yeah, it's definitely some fugazi that's going on into this thing, man. Then I seen I seen all the highlights and things of that nature where Mike could have countered on some couple of punches and he grappling instead, and it's like, man, I don't understand it, cause it's like, bro, y'all saying y'all want to fight these retired pro boxers or y'all want to fight these boxers and y'all want to be boxers, but y'all putting all these contingencies into the to the contract to where the real boxer, not the social media boxer, but the real boxer. I still think Jake Paul social media boxer, even though people try to put him into a real boxer just because he does the work to be in the ring. It doesn't make you a real boxer. Anybody can go to a boxing class and learn how to do what he does. But when you get to the real boxing, like the Javantes and all of that, like when you fighting one of those, like Mike Tyson, one of the greatest all time, you got him losing a fight, even though he's 60. I don't care if he's 60, he's still Mike Tyson. It's just like Floyd getting in that ring after all those years and fighting the Jake Paul. You knew, I mean
Logan.
what's the other one? Yeah, Logan. Like, we already knew Floyd wasn't gonna let him bully him or pay him into a win. Like Floyd already got too much money, so Floyd was not going for that at all. He's like, man, you're not gonna mess up my record on my face saying that you beat me. I already knew Floyd was gonna tear him up. Like Mike Tyson though, man, y'all tricked Mike Tyson for $20 million. Y'all really tricked that man to lose, and now everybody looking at him crazy. But he ain't gonna be looking crazy because he old. He gonna say I'm old. He beat me. He gonna say that. But we all know the real. We all know the real. And then it was on Netflix. Netflix is a streaming for TV shows and actors. They had to tell everybody everything they needed to know about that fight from then if it was on Netflix. And I didn't even watch it. I didn't watch the documentary. I didn't even watch the fight because I was gonna watch the documentary because I was seeing how he was hitting in the pad and on like TikTok and stuff. I was like, ooh, that might be a good documentary. So then I was gonna watch it until I was gonna watch it after the fight because I wanted to see what everybody was gonna be saying. And once
Yeah,
I seen how everybody was like, man, Mike Tyson, he holding back, he biting his glove, he doing this, he doing that. I'm like, hey, what going on? I thought Mike was gonna beat his ass. And come to find out, he threw the towel in. But I seen a little video, the highlights. Man, they show highlights from the Roy Jones Jr. fight with him and Mike Tyson. Come on, man, this is crazy,
Yeah.
crazy.
it's tough, man. We'll never
But
know.
that's
I
my
mean,
little take on it, man.
that could be the reason, like between the Mike and the Floyd. Floyd didn't need the money. Maybe you know what I'm saying. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. But I mean, you're right, right. So we talking about media. So like the media has always been that. Before obviously social media, it was like news, like newspaper. So like the
yeah,
media's been that, but we now are overexposed with all information. So that stuff that's been having like the contingency's always been there. It's been there since the day of time. It's just we never knew about it. So we just be like, oh, either somebody can believe it or you ain't gonna believe it. Now it's like,
yeah,
hold on. He said he doing what? It's like we
yeah.
getting the contract live. While we reading the contract. Why they doing the fight? It's like it makes you look at a lot of things differently. But it
Yeah.
is what it is at this point. It's tough to sit and say. I can't imagine being the host of that and saying like, well, we want a good entertaining show. We want the most viewers. So as far as eyeball wise, hey, you do what you gotta do. But as a consumer side, it's like you want to see the best thing, and if you feel like that was a fugazi type of thing, which most likely it probably was,
It was.
Yeah, it
you know what
was.
I'm saying? It's tough. It's
You
tough, and
watch the
that's
you
Yeah.
watch the fight, right? Right,
Yeah.
Lane?
Yeah, I watched it. So I was gonna get
I
my
watched it.
my 5 cents because you gave 2 cents.
Yeah, yeah.
So first and foremost, undercard was great. Is it had some super good matches on there.
I did hear about
The
that.
women's match before the main event of Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. These girls were going at it. One girl headbutted the girl twice. This other girl,
Mm,
her eye lid was peeling off. Like it was crazy.
mm.
Like they got this fake doctor in there, and they're like, "Doctor, check her out." And the doctor was like, "You good?" And she's like, "Yeah." And the doctor was like, "All right, she's good." And I'm like, as a healthcare professional, I'm like, "Bro, that ain't no doctor. He just threw her back in
Exactly.
there."
Exactly.
But nah, that fight was good. All the undercards were good. Those matches were great. My second thing, the streaming quality was terrible. I don't know
Heard
what
that.
Netflix was doing. I still don't understand how Amazon Prime can host a free Kendrick Lamar concert on Prime Music Video, whatever you want to call it, and have the most crystal clear audio and video to this day, have a great concert. But Netflix has over a year to figure out, hey, we're going to stream this fight, not in
That's
just some
true.
like random arena. You're in Jerry's World. You're in the Dallas Cowboys Stadium, and you can't figure it out. And what's scary is one, Netflix has the 2 NFL Christmas games, so I don't want my quality going out during those Christmas
Oh
games.
my god.
And then two, WWE is supposed to do their Monday Night Raw on Netflix starting
Mm.
like the first week of January. So me as a wrestling fan, I'm like, I don't want to see the ref go 1, 2, and then my streaming quality pauses because then I'm gonna get pissed off and I gotta reset everything and but anyway, streaming quality sucked.
This goes back to the point. Damn, I don't think we talked about this on this episode, but this goes back to the point where it's like, yo, I want to be in person. It's like
Oh yeah.
you ain't got to
Nah,
worry
That's,
not
about it.
not not for this
that's
fight.
important.
Not for this fight. I did not want to be there in
Oh,
person.
okay. But I mean, for the game though, right? You talking about the WWE and we talking about the football. You know, I mean, seeing everything in person, bro. Like it's just
Yeah, but
WWE, I will agree. I love seeing that in person, man. When I
yeah,
was a kid,
it's
I used to watch
fun.
those
There's a bunch
matches.
of weird people, but it's fun to go watch in
Oh
person.
yeah, that's true. But yeah, it's fun to watch in person, man. I like seeing them, like all the noise. Like you hear the noise on the television, but you don't think like, man, that
you
shit
ain't
was
feeling it.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
You think those slaps across the chest are just like amplifier for the microphone? When you go see them in person, and they
exactly.
just Ric Flair chop you to the chest. You're like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that hurt. Or the steel chair, or like when they get the belts out, you're
Yeah,
like, all right, yeah,
yeah, that's
they
something.
probably
Yeah,
held back, but like that stuff still hurts. I see their backs all red.
It's the same
wrestling
thing
jumping
like
from
with
the top rope, all that.
Yeah,
crazy. It's the same thing like going to the club. Like I don't enjoy going to the club, and I hear certain music, and I'm like, man, this is whack. Like this is trash.
Yeah,
And I go to a club and hear it. I'm like, oh, hold on. Now I see why.
different
Now I
vibe.
see why it's different. Okay, so now
yeah,
you gotta do it in person. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes, but
I
Sometimes.
agree.
it is what it is. But yeah,
What
man,
I
I think the
what
meat.
I will
Go
say
ahead.
is on that Netflix topic about them about the quality of the stream. I want to say ever since they cut back on the password sharing, that could be the
Oh
reason
yeah, talk
Yeah,
about that.
because they probably had so many people viewing their shit like when the password was being
yep.
shared. Once they
Facts.
tried to crack down on it, and everybody was like, "Man, fuck y'all, yeah, fuck you." They said they
Now,
can get you.
does that mean it's a smart business move, or does that mean we really in a
No,
recession?
it was a horrible business move. They was
Yeah.
being greedy as a company, trying to
Chris,
get everybody to get their own passwords and stuff.
did you see Antonio Brown was just live streaming the fight because he was at the Cowboy Stadium and he had his phone up and he was just live streaming it on Twitter. That man had 6 million people watching the fight from his phone. And
Mm.
like
On live,
6 million people were fed up with Netflix and just went to go watch the fight from his phone when he was in the arena live, and he had 6 million people live on Twitter watching it.
I haven't seen
Mm.
that screenshot yet, and I follow
Yeah,
Antonio
I'll
Brown, so
send it
that's
to you
crazy.
because Jake Paul was pissed because he quoted it and was like, man, Netflix, 6 million people illegally watch our stream. Like, we need to figure this out because he's losing money from it. Him and Mike Tyson are losing money from it.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn. So Mike Tyson should have just won the fight then. If
Hey,
that's the case.
hey, but I will say one
Now his
thing.
foot getting cut short.
I definitely think Mike Tyson got there to get the money because I didn't realize I never really kept up with Mike Tyson like that growing up, but I didn't realize he
Yeah,
went bankrupt in '03.
Yeah.
He had a lot of
yeah,
like
yeah.
bad relationships with his families.
Bad
And,
business
like,
relationship
yeah,
too.
he worked very hard through like movies, a lot of other different side projects to do to get back to where he was. So like for me, if someone came up to me and was like, "Hey, man, you're gonna take this fall for $20 million. We're just gonna box around. We're just gonna play tag a little bit." And then boom, do you
True,
take your 20? I'm doing it. I'll get knocked out for
true,
20 mil.
true. True, but yeah, they said they had to go the distance and all of that, bro,
Yeah,
just for him to get his whole check. And if he would have tried to knock him out, or he would have been knocked out before then, he wouldn't have got his whole 20 mil. So
yeah.
to each his own. But when you are a world-renowned greatest heavyweight boxer, especially for Mike Tyson's aspect, you just I don't know, bro. I don't know if it's just a pride thing. Like let's just say LeBron. No, let's say Michael Jordan, for example. Somebody challenge him to a one-on-one. Somebody that's like an amateur, or somebody that's somebody that's an amateur basketball player, but he's decent. He's pretty decent. Like somebody that does it on YouTube or whatever. They challenge MJ to I don't care if he's 50, 60. He's still gonna go out there and try to win the game. Now, granted, he's gonna be 60 or older, but he's still gonna try to win. He
I
lose,
don't know.
they're gonna be like Michael Jordan actually played pretty well for his age. That's all they're gonna be talking about. But if he loses without trying to back him down or do a jab step or even try to dunk the ball a little bit, they're gonna be like, that ain't the MJ y'all remember. If y'all say he the GOAT, that's gonna be the whole topic. That's the same thing that's going on with Mike Tyson. But at the same time, Mike Tyson showed the signs of him holding back. So people could be like, okay, he held back on some of these punches. He was biting his glove, like he kept biting his glove out of frustration. And people were interpreting that as frustration
Yeah.
and things of that nature. But obviously, like you seen it firsthand. Did you see chances of Mike Tyson being able to knock him out and things of that nature? Or
So he had a couple punches early on where he got Paul with a left or a right hook. I can't remember. And like he got him pretty good. But like I don't know if you guys have seen the pictures, but like Mike Tyson had a knee brace on. Like he couldn't really move
yeah,
his legs very well. Like you could tell he's very out of shape, which kind of goes into my next point. Have you seen his Mike Tyson's tweet that he put out?
what do you
Mm-mm.
say?
So he was like, I forgot when he went to the hospital. It was a couple months ago, but he's like, basically a couple months ago, I almost died. Like I could have easily died. I think he had like some kind of cardiac condition to where like he lost a lot of blood. He lost like 20 pounds. Like he'd have gained that all back. But he's like, I wanted to put on a show for the fans. Like I wanted to do this to show
Oh,
people that he could still do it. He's like, you know what? Like I've lived a long life. Like I'm very happy with where I've been in life. Like I worked very hard to get my money back. I worked very hard to get my relationships back with my family. Like I just want to show like if people want to go out and do stuff at my age, like you can still do it. He's like, unfortunately, like I just wasn't healthy enough, but like I didn't want to back out and not do it. And he was like, I wanted to do it. So I mean, if you look at that perspective, like yeah, he like almost died. Like I don't know if he actually almost actually died, but I mean he
he
lost a
put
lot
his
of
life
blood.
on the
He
line.
lost, yeah. Like he wanted to do it just to be like, yo, like I'm not gonna back out. I'm still gonna do it. Like I made this deal. One, I think the money definitely helped. And you can tell like
Yeah,
Jake Paul could have easily knocked him out, but I think it would have looked a lot worse for Jake Paul to knock him out because at some points, like
he's
Paul was
older.
just throwing a little couple jabs, like just tagging him a little bit, and then like the last 30 seconds, they kind of just stood there. Jake Paul like took a bow to him and was like, "Thank you, like this has been amazing. Like you're one of the best fighters ever." It sucks because it went on Tyson's record as a loss. I think that's the
Yeah,
worst part. But like if you kind of look at it, like no one's really gonna look at that loss and be like, "Man, maybe he's not the pound for pound best fighter." They're gonna look at that loss and be like, all right, that's an
that's
asterisk
an
right
action.
there. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I think if it was maybe like 2020 when he fought Roy Jones Jr., it might have been a little
Yeah.
bit different to where like you might have seen a lot more powerful strikes because Tyson looked good during that exhibition. But again, it's a lot
Mm-hmm.
different. You're going up against a guy who's 20, somewhere around our age. I don't know how old Jake Paul is against
Yeah.
a old veteran like Mike Tyson. Like, of course, like it's a win-win for Jake Paul and a win-lose for Tyson. Like Jake Paul is going to get the money and he's going to get a win. And if he gets knocked out, he's going to be like, "Oh, well, Mike Tyson knocked me out, of course." So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's boxing's been rigged for a while, and that's a whole other story for a different day that I'm not going to get into because again, I think that's all for entertainment purposes. And yeah, well, just gonna keep
Sometimes
it
it
moving.
depends. It depends on who's fighting.
Yeah,
Sometimes, but
it
yeah,
depends. It
I agree.
depends.
I do agree.
Well, as a consumer, continue to actually, if you're a consumer, comment down below and let us know which platforms you like the most that you consume,
Mm-hmm.
that obviously you can't live without, and you continue to find the best shows, movies, etc., or just podcast stuff. If it's YouTube. But let us know what you all feeling, what y'all liking, what y'all don't like, and stuff like that, so we can look at those and talk about that for the next one. And obviously, if you're a producer, hey man, you gotta really study. It's a science behind it, right? There's a lot of things that growing up in school, I'm like, I ain't gonna never use this. But like when it comes to social media and psychology, everything that you need to learn about obviously human behavior and trying to get your products and service out there and want to build attention for yourself, you have to really study these platforms that are actually building for our success to be able to market and provide value to people. And there's no easy way of doing that, but just going to figure it out and going to do it with the best team that you can be around. And it starts there. And I believe, obviously, if you have a good product and value content and you do it consistently, you can break through, right? So I believe, we're doing that right now. We're trying to do as much as we can. We're learning these platforms. We're going to figure out. It's going to come a moment where y'all see this episode, and then like a year later, y'all be like, "Whoa, they taking off." Cause we at that point studied and figured out a formula, and we're staying up to date with everything. So it's just consistency and believe in yourself and believe in your team. So as a consumer, figure that out. Obviously, continue watching what you want to watch and comment below. A producer, just keep doing what you're doing. And if you're doing the same thing right now and ain't working, probably is you. You need to change something. You know what I'm saying? So continue doing what you can and study. That's all we can do, man. So again, we appreciate you all for another episode of Dear Radio Reports, special reports at that matter. Hey man, we'll see you. Oh, hold on. Shout out to KD2 Gaming. Make sure you like and subscribe to all of his content. Hey man, I told you I'm gonna shout you out. I ain't gonna never throw you under the bus, brother. I know my other
I
guys.
will.
This question, so like and subscribe his stuff. We continue doing what we're doing. We might do something with gaming soon, so we'll let you know. Shout out to LeBranston Gaming. Make sure you like and follow everything he's doing. He's doing crazy. So videos going wild, and obviously he's putting a lot of time and hours in for you all. So continue to support him as well. Obviously, the radio show we're doing what we need to be doing. So like, comment, subscribe on that. Continue to follow and support us. There's the greatest host in the nation. So he's gonna continue doing what he's doing. So we appreciate y'all, man, and see y'all same time next week. Peace.
Peace.